Thanks for coming back. I'm Matt from Solimar Industries here with SiFly eFoils, and we're having a busy summer, and I'm doing a lot of eFoil deliveries and meeting a lot of great customers and teaching them how to set up their eFoils. I wanted to do a quick video on just basic, right off the bat when you unbox it, setup. There's a few things you got to do, and I find myself basically telling everybody the exact same thing. I thought I should just make a quick video so people could watch it over and over again if they need to, or if it's a foil that I ship to somebody, they could see the same information. So right off the bat, when you unbox your foil, you're going to have quite a few different components. And the very first thing you're going to want to go to is charging the battery. The battery is going to come to you at about 50%, and we need to bring it up to obviously 100% so we can go riding. So right off the bat, we're going to need to get our remote control case out. And the reason why is because right here in this front corner is a little black magnet. This magnet is used to tell the battery to start charging, and so we don't want to lose this. If you do lose it, any magnet will work, but this is the one that's provided, and it rides right here in this remote control case. So we get that out. We're going to get our battery out. We're going to put it in a cool, shaded, safe place to charge, lying down flat like this. And we're going to get our charger out. We're not going to plug our charger into the wall. We're just going to set it down next to it. And we're going to start by plugging the leads in, right? Red to red, black to black. We're going to get our magnet. We're going to set it right on top of the battery in this little indentation. That's going to tell the battery to come on, and it's going to flash a series of green lights. In this case, it's going to flash twice, telling you that it's at 50%. Now we're just about ready to start charging. We're going to take our power cord, plug it into our 110 outlet. The charger will communicate with the battery management system for about 10 or 15 seconds while they make sure everything's safe, and then it'll come on and begin to charge, and you'll hear the fan start running. At that point, you're good to go there. We need to move on to the remote. The remote has been coming lately fully charged, but you don't want to wait to get to the water to find that out. So you could start by just pulling it out and turning it on by holding down the minus button and the F button. The remote will come on, and this remote, brand new, is at 100%, and that's how they've been coming lately, which is really good. But if you needed to charge it, now would be the time. We'd get our docking station out. We would get our USB-C cord out. We'd plug our USB-C cord in, and we'd plug that into the outlet as well, and we'd begin to charge our remote, okay? Now we have both our battery power devices charging. We can move on to the next step. The next step that I would recommend is that you download the SiFly app to your smartphone. You're gonna need that to connect all your devices and also to manage settings as we go forward. And before I stop today, I'll tell you about two settings that I want you to add. So from there, we have a few decisions we need to make. We need to set up our mast. The mast does not come with the prop guard on it. So if you're a newer rider or you're teaching people and you want to keep safety as a priority, you're going to want to put this on. Very easy to do. We're going to get our mast out in a nice place where we can work on it. We're going to get a 13mm socket. We're going to grasp the prop with our hand, and we're just going to loosen this nut up. It's a standard nut, lefty-loosey. And then we need to get the prop off. Prop's pressed onto a little T-bar, so if you just use a screwdriver of any sort and put it in this gap, you can kind of leverage the prop off pretty easy. It doesn't put up much of a fight. Save this little pin. At this point, we're going to take an Allen key, 2.5mm, and we're just going to spin out these 3 screws. Take that cap off. Put the guard on. Use the same 3 screws. In that remote control box is some anti-corrosive gel lubricant, which you should use on all the screws. It is underneath the remote control charging dock. Comes in this little bag. We're going to put that on all the screws, especially if we're riding in salt water. This reduces any corrosion between aluminum and stainless steel. I'm going to put just a little bit on the threads here for that nut on the prop. But you especially want to use that when you're attaching the mast to the board and the wings to the mast. Those screws are more coarse and get a lot of salt around the threads. So that's that. At this point, all we have to do is put our pin back in the prop shaft, index this groove with the pin, put our 13mm lock nut back on, and we are done with that. Our next chore that we need to do is install the Fuselage Stabilizer mount. Inside the remote container, underneath the charger, is a bag of extra screws and also the appropriate tool to put the stabilizer mount on. It looks like this. It's a T40 Torx bit. And here are the two screws that you're going to use. One is long and one is very short. They're easy to identify. And we're going to use those to put this stabilizer mast on. We stick the screws in. Like I mentioned, a little bit of this lubricant will protect them from corrosion. And SiFly, through their innovation, has designed this with two positions available. One is considered comfort, or you might just consider it for stability or maybe the beginner position. And the other one is considered sport. Basically, it lengthens. If the fuselage is longer, it's a little more stable. As you get more advanced, you can shorten it up for a more sporty ride. I'm going to set this one up in the what's called comfort position. I'm going to just hand torque these torque screws, and we're done. And now our fuselage is set up with the fuselage stabilizer holder and our prop guard. Okay, so at this point, we're ready to go ride and to put everything together and use the app to connect everything. We're waiting for our battery to charge, but we're in pretty good shape. What I want to do is take a few minutes and just review with you what's in the remote bag, because there's a lot of stuff in there and it shouldn't go overlooked. When you get it, it looks like this. This is a bit of an accessory advertisement. Talks about the jet drive, which is available for $259. Eliminates basically any risk of getting hurt by the prop. It talks about the Easy Go, which is a really great innovation to eliminate breaching. It has the mover wheels or the rover wheels in it, which go through the back of the bag if you order a bag. The floaty, and the Dragonfly, which is a handlebar system. So this is just showing you some options that are available. The little hidden gem is the instructions. It's an assembly guide. What I wanted to show you in here, aside from pages and pages of great information, there is quick links. These QR codes go to everything that you need to answer your questions. This one is about the board and the app. This is about the battery. This is about the controller. And this one even tells you how to eFoil. So before you make phone calls and ask for help, SiFly has gone to a lot of work to produce really good YouTube videos. If you go to these QR codes, You'll go to their videos and they'll probably answer all of your questions. So don't overlook this. It also has information on what screws and bolts to use where. Just really good information. Everything I'm telling you right now is in this book. As we know, we don't often like to read the instructions. In this controller box is another little gem. This black plastic lid shows you exactly what screws to use and where. In these little compartments is where you can keep the screws. You'll notice there's 4 that come in it. Right now, that's to attach the mast. And that coincides perfectly with what this tells you. So by keeping this here, if you ever have any questions, oh, and by the way, these are actually life-size diagrams or outlines of the bolts that you'll use. So if you have any questions, you can, under this charger, pull out the bag of bolts, line them up perfectly with this to know which one goes where. There's a diagram that shows the wings and the mast. So that's very helpful because initially it can be a little confusing. I mentioned the lube that comes for the screws to prevent oxidation. There's also dielectric grease, which is great on these electrical fittings on the outside to keep water from going into the electrical fittings. So any place like that is great to use that dielectric grease. Another question I get asked a lot is these plastic shims. You can definitely play around with these shims. There's 6 of them. These are used to shim the stabilizer wing on the back of the fuselage. These are rated in numbers 1, 2, 3, and they're either positive or negative. And a way you can remember this is by using these. They're indexed, so you can't do it wrong. A positive shim will push the nose up. A negative shim will push the nose down. You're not going to use these right off the bat. You're going to go ride your eFoil and have a great time. But if in the near future you start to experience your eFoil riding nose high or nose low and you'd like to make some adjustments, it might be because of your stance. It might be because of how much you weigh. It might be the wing that you're using. But this is really for personal preference to make your eFoil ride exactly how you like it. And I would just incrementally try them and see if you like it. I personally don't use any. I think the board rides really level, just like it is. The last thing we need to do is when our batteries are charged, we need to fully assemble the board, and we need to go on the app, and we need to make sure our Bluetooth's turned on, our location services are turned on, and we need to open the app and find our parts, our battery, our controller, and our mast, and we need to link them all together, register them, and then we need to go in and adjust 2 settings. 2 settings that I want to make sure you guys do. There's plenty more that you can do, but 2 are important. 1, change it from kilometers an hour to miles per hour. That's in the controller settings. And then the other one is sticky gears. The way it comes from the factory, the remote is going to reset to gear number 1 every time you fall off of it. Sticky gears allows it to stay in the same gear that you were in when you fell. So if you're cruising along in gear 10 and you fall, when you go to get back on, it'll be in gear 10. When you're new, you don't need anything extra to have to worry about. And certainly when you're trying to teach people, it's frustrating if their biggest struggle is just operating the remote. So by keeping it in sticky gears, they can cruise around on 6 or 7 on their knees and fall off and get right back at 6 or 7 and take off again and not have to manipulate the remote. So it's just one less thing for them to have to do. So miles per hour, sticky gears, 2 really great things. With all electronics, if things aren't working, you have to be patient. You have to think logically, like what's going on. So you need to have it Bluetooth connected to what it's supposed to be connected to. Your battery needs to be charged. Maybe some patience, and it doesn't hurt to turn things off and turn things back on. Not everything with technology works perfect the first time. So far, one of the things I love about SiFly is how seamless the app is. and how user-friendly it is and how intuitive it is. One of the greatest things is the automatic firmware updates that it does on its own, meaning if they want to push out some sort of change, or maybe it's noted that things are not working maybe like they should, they can change it and it'll automatically update with you doing nothing. I hope I answered some questions and got you guys moving in the right direction. Like always, call me, email me, text me, hit me on Messenger. I try to always respond, but these are some of the things that I get asked frequently, and it's I just wanted to put out a video so it's just there for you. You can watch it over and over again. Please subscribe.